Okay, we are recording.
Yeah, you probably could make it look less like a house. Is that what we're trying to do?
Trying to.
I think the word's already out, Hoffman.
Before people figure out that we're doing this in my kitchenette.
Kitchen conversations.
Right.
With AJ Hoffman.
That's right. All right. You let me know when we're recording.
Yeah, you're good.
Welcome to the Small Market Podcast with your host, Watucky and Hoffman. Welcome back. And we're can we do that again? I'm really sorry.
And take two.
And take two. This never happens for Video World. Usually I nail that first.
This is why it's not a Facebook Live.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea, because then they would have seen my screw up there.
There'd be a lot of pressure. Oh, who cares? Whatever.
Right,
It doesn't even matter. I'm just letting it roll.
Oh, okay.
And cut it up
Oh,
later.
so we're getting all this. Cool.
We're getting it all.
All right.
I might like that intro interview.
That was dumb. That was the dumbest thing yeah.
You can't say, I always talk to my dad.
I shouldn't say dumb, you're right, kinda. Okay, we're gonna start again, okay, bud?
Mm-hmm.
Alright. Welcome to the Small Market Podcast with your host, Watucky and Hoffman. How are you, Watucky?
Doing good. It's a good weekend.
It was an amazing weekend, right?
Amazing weekend
And
if you're a football lover.
I watched other football, but, I watched a lot of baseball. I was watching, rooting for the Dodgers, watching the World Series. That's very exciting.
They're getting close, 3 game. Well, when we're recording this, when you're hearing it, who knows, it could be over, but they're up
Right.
3 games to 2 now.
Right now, yeah. The way things are going, like last week, we predicted that Kershaw was going to tank again, and
Yeah. He's making us look like clowns.
and that didn't happen. He must have listened to the podcast
Okay.
and was like, "I'm going to prove those clowns wrong."
So I'll ask you the question then. Does this, it's got 2 wins now, does this change your outlook if they win a ring of his postseason, how you view him?
Yes, this
Postseason-wise.
does increase the value of the autographed baseball that I had with him. Absolutely. it
No,
does. Yes. Yeah, it does. I want everybody. Yeah. That's what I'm rooting
No,
for.
get out of here. From a non-collector standpoint,
Oh, that's
your
completely different. That doesn't even matter.
view of him, like his struggles for so long, does one World Series where he comes through erase all of that, or does he still have that stigma?
Listen, he's a future Hall of Famer either way, so I feel like yes, it does. We can talk more about this in the second.
Okay,
Second
yeah,
half if you want.
we'll
You-
debate that in the second half.
I know you really wanted to talk about football for whatever reason, but
Well, probably because it's like the number 1 sport in America.
debatable.
Debatable.
It's
And
debatable.
what brings in bigger ratings?
I don't know. It's Small Market Podcast brings in pretty huge ratings, right? Pretty large ratings, should I say?
Large, yeah.
Large rating.
Everyone stare at the camera.
Here on the large show, since we're recording, I'm gonna be looking at the camera like Jim quite a bit. So, we're trying a audio video
Thing.
experience.
Yeah, for our upcoming YouTube channel that we're starting up now.
Exactly. The struggle is real with that, but yeah. Let's talk about football then.
Okay,
I
so
guess.
let's talk about the struggle being real.
Yeah.
So did you watch any of the Lions, Hoffman? I seen on Facebook you had a ton of posts going out about you and Martha Ford, or her daughter runs it now, Sheila Ford, not getting along with her or something.
Yeah, to bring them
You
up.
guys,
huh?
you guys having a breakup there? Or what's going on?
For those of you that don't know, about 4 weeks ago, I officially broke up with the Detroit Lions organization. I appreciate you bringing it back up again, Watucky. Yeah, that's great. I mean, it's not like it's still fresh and painful in my mind.
There was a lot of people asking questions on Facebook, like, are you okay? Do you need someone to talk to?
I did need somebody to talk to. Westendorf actually showed up for me, surprisingly.
Did he?
He's been a guest on our show a couple times.
Yeah.
He showed up for me, which was really kind.
Wow.
A friend in need, I broke up with the Lions about 4 weeks ago, and ever since then, they've been unbelievable.
Well,
They've been better than they usually are.
They're wins,
That's what it is.
but I don't know if I would call this week's win unbelievable.
Listen, they lost 3 in a row to start off the season. And that's when I decided I'm done with this team. As a hardcore fan, as a diehard Lions and Detroit sports fan, I decided I was done with them. I was breaking up with them. That was it. I'm not watching any more of them. I don't care what they do. If they go on, they move it. They can be happy if they want. I don't care. That's fine. I'm happy for them, you know, like, but I don't want to be with them anymore. And ever since then, when they pulled off a win, okay, whatever, you know, fine, good for you, you know. Then they went on vacation, a bye week, if you will. They went on vacation, had a good time. They were, yeah, no big deal. I didn't miss them. I'm not gonna say that I missed them or cared about where they were, what they were doing on that off week. It's none of my business. But I was checking on Stafford's Instagram and carry-ons and stuff. Anyways, so then the following week they come back. They come back to work. Whatever. They come back to work and they pull off another win last week. Yeah. I wasn't watching though, I don't care.
You didn't
heard
pay
it.
attention to that. Yeah, just through the grapevine,
I
right?
heard it from friends. I think you told me. I was just, oh, that's nice.
Yeah, they're doing pretty good without you.
Yeah, it's
Wow, yeah.
fine, you know. And then this week they happened to. I heard that they pulled off another one. Maybe they did. I don't know. Maybe they. I didn't have. I wasn't. It's not like I was in a local restaurant enjoying a couple brews by myself. They were on the screen next to me. I was watching the Steelers game, okay? So I was watching the Steelers game. They were over here to the side of me, I guess, I think.
Oh,
I don't know. I wasn't paying too much attention. I was watching like the 5-0 teams go at it.
Yeah, that was a matchup.
That was exciting. I'd rather talk about that because, you know, that was way better looking. Way more exciting, you know? Not this nonsense going on over here. Them blowing, and I was sure they were gonna blow it. And, you know,
almost did.
I'm happy for them if they wanted, you know, they do their thing. People were cheering in the bar. They were pretty rambunctious. I don't know what that was all about, but I don't know. Maybe you can tell me. Did you happen to watch any of it, or did they ask about me?
They didn't ask about you, Hoffman.
Okay, well, yeah,
But-
I mean, I'm not asking about them either. I don't care. I mean, I'm happy for them, and if they want to do what they do, that's fine. That's okay. Do you know what they're doing next weekend, though? Or?
They're doing the Colts. that sounds bad. They're playing the Colts.
So they'll be in Indianapolis.
Yeah, they'll be close to home. Well, I guess I don't know. Maybe they're at home. I guess I didn't check.
Oh, they'll be. You mean they're gonna be at home? They'll be at home.
Might be.
So like if I drive by or something, then you know that's not that big of a deal. And I mean, because we live in the same state, so you know, I don't care.
Yeah, they'll be at home, Hoffman. They'll be at home.
Oh.
So you know.
Okay.
I mean.
Okay. All right. Well, that. You know that changes things a little bit then. You know,
Oh,
maybe
you're really sweating it out there, Hoffman.
no.
Take it easy.
Listen. If anybody from the organization in Kentucky happens to reach out to you, or
It happens all the time. What do you want me to tell them?
just you see what
He just
see
thinks
what
about
Sheila's up to, or Martha asking.
He thinks about you occasionally.
I don't tell them that.
Oh,
Don't say
okay,
that.
okay.
No, I don't think about them or anything. That's not like I don't want to come off stalkerish or anything, but like you know, I just
Hoffman,
yeah.
I gotta ask you.
Hmm.
When they turn this thing around and they beat the 4-2 Colts and it gives them a winning record, and then they just go on to beat Washington, they go on to beat Carolina, and they go on to beat the
Listen,
Vikings,
They're
and they're in second place. They're battling for second place with the Bears in the division. Hoffman, are you gonna come
buddy.
begging for them back? Are you gonna come begging for them back?
They're not gonna turn it around. Okay.
You don't think so?
Listen, this is why. I
This
let
is
them
why you
go.
finished that bottle of whiskey tonight, huh?
It's a completely separate issue, but it may or may not be related, but listen, I'm at a kind of a low point in my life right now, and, just, if anybody from the organization reaches out to you and talks about Glenn or Matt Patricia or, even Matt Prater. If Matt Prater happens to call you, if you talk to Matt Prater, just let him know I poured one out for him.
Well, after that game-winning field goal, he'd be the guy to pour one out for.
Oh, he had a game-winning.
Or no, I'm sorry, not game-winning field goal. Game-winning extra point.
What was it like? What happened?
It actually, okay, so if you've ever
I mean, I
watched
don't really
any...
care. Not that I care. I just.
Oh, okay. Well,
I asked.
I'm telling you anyways.
Curious about their happiness, but yeah.
Well,
Go ahead.
It's a lot. If you've ever watched them lose in any kind of fashion, which is always dramatic, imagine it 180 degrees flipped,
Yeah.
and they're on the other end of things.
Oh, that's hot.
It was so dramatic. They celebrated. They were celebrating on the field. You would have thought they won the Super Bowl, but really they just beat a 1-5 Atlanta team. Yeah. So one of the few teams worse than them.
So what you're telling me is that they're happier now without me. Is that what you're saying?
I'm not saying they're happier, Hoffman. I'm just saying they're 500.
I didn't. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Do you know when the last time was that they were 500, or?
I honestly don't know.
Because it
I
certainly
think it's
wasn't
been
with
used.
when
It
they
wasn't
were
with
me.
It certainly wasn't with you. You obviously you didn't do it for him, Hoffman.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't do it for me either. Just for the record, which happens to be 500 right now. But I don't know. Listen, I don't care. It's not a big deal to me. I don't really care. I did have a lot of people reach out to me, females, lady friends. Just random females. A few waitresses stopped by. They saw me kind of preoccupied or ordering more alcohols as the afternoon progressed. They clearly could see something was wrong, and they wanted to console me. I pushed them away because I don't move on as quickly as the Lions do. Jumping from city to city. They're in Atlanta 1 week. They're in,
Jacksonville.
Jacksonville.
They're all over.
Yeah, exactly. They're going, and then they have the nerve to come back this week. They have the nerve to come back this week and play in the same field that I used to go and watch them play at. Like I've been to Ford Field quite a few times with Tucky, and they're just gonna come back there and play in the same yard that we used to play in.
Yeah. Yeah. They're gonna do that, Hoffman, because they've moved on, and it's very clear that you haven't.
I think I'm gonna need a break, Tucky.
Yeah. Why don't we do that, Hoffman? I
Okay.
think it'll help your mental. We can come back, maybe talk a little bit about your boy Clayton Kershaw.
Yeah.
You seem to have moved on to the
Yeah.
Dodgers.
Baseball is cool.
And then
Baseball.
I can rant a little bit about my Big Ten teams.
I can be a fan about other stuff too. I don't care about your problems with Tucky. Okay.
Oh, these
I
aren't my
care
problems.
about.
These aren't my
I care
problems.
about-
These are Mel Tucker's
Listen.
problems, bud.
I care about. Well, I mean, your team Minnesota lost. According to Hirsch.
According to
Yeah.
Hirsch.
No, look. I'm thinking about getting into hockey. Hockey might be cool.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's really a new low for you,
It's,
Hoffman. That's
she's in Canada.
We need
you
a
know.
break, Hoffman. Yeah, you need to.
She's in Canada. I swear, she's real.
She's
Hey,
Canadian, I
she's
swear.
Canadian. Right. You know what?
Or
We're
is she
gonna take a
Russian?
break.
Or is she Russian? Maybe she's like your
She's
Russian
Russian.
mail order bride.
Yes,
Hockey.
Hoffman goes international. What can I say? Yeah.
Take us into break, Hoffman. You need one.
We'll be right back.
Can you do it?
Podcast.
Can you do it a little less creepy?
I cannot. We'll be right back after this short break. Small podcast. Yeah.
Okay, that's it.
That was stupid. That was so stupid.
Kinda. Hey, bud. What did I say? I said I need like 15 minutes of no talking. Right? Did we forget that?
What? But you guys are taking away.
Well, now we are, yes, and you can talk. Let me say that. Yeah, that was a whole 15-minute segment that if you was looking for alliance analysis, just did not go. That's fine, because we can.
Did
I'm
that
gonna go
work,
like
or
45 minutes,
do you
yeah.
think that flew, or is
I
that...
think it's our podcast. I'm gonna put out whatever the hell I want to put out.
Okay, alright.
And
No, I just hope that that kind of flew with what we're, like, if that resonated, if that makes sense. You know, the whole breaking up the line.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think if you're listening to it, you can figure it out.
If you've ever watched a Lions game before, you probably understand that analysis there. You know, I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
She's not my girl anymore.
I don't care. I don't care what she does. She can go, you know, just doesn't matter to me.
So how long are you gonna not watch them for? Like, at what point? Like, if they're in the number one in the division and everybody's like, are you coming back off? Like, no, like
that's not gonna happen.
like we're turning this
That's
off.
not gonna
Like,
happen.
like
They're not gonna go number one in the division, okay? That's number one in the division.
well, that's true.
But-
Green Bay is absolutely raking it
I'll tell you what.
in right now, just destroying people.
You know, when that next loss comes, and it will come, I'll be in there to swoop them up and
Captain Save-A-Ho.
Wounded Beaver. Have you ever heard of that before?
The Wounded Beaver?
Bill Wounded Beaver.
That sounds like something that happens. That sounds like something that happens, like, I don't know, on the Oregon State campus.
Okay,
Like,
they,
Oh,
They beavers?
oh, yeah.
like a
Probably.
college thing, like the Walk of Shame. It's like the Wounded Beaver.
okay, they,
What's up, dude?
do you have big paper? Like regular size paper?
I
Like-
don't, buddy. I don't have any big paper or crayons or anything, but I probably will next time.
Like notebook paper.
You want a big piece of notebook paper? I got that if you want.
This is kind of a piece of notebook paper.
Okay, here. A big piece of notebook paper.
All those notes I had for the Lions, we don't need.
There you go. That's all yours.
Wow, you were fast.
I know. That's many years of Uncle AJ just, you know, ripping pieces of notebook paper out of his notebook. Man, I hope that segment turns out better than the way I played it.
And if it doesn't,
And if it doesn't, we're still going with it.
yeah, still rolling with. Yes, kinda.
I want to watch my silver sign, please.
But silently, like turn it all the way off, volume wise.
Can I turn that on?
No, because I can't have the. I can't. It's gonna pick up everything on this while we're doing the podcast. That's why I always say I need you to be quiet, because these microphones will pick up everything. That's what they do. They're
Yeah.
microphones.
But what they're picking up yours now. Wait,
Right now, I got it paused. We're not actually recording anything.
okay, but how do I,
You know what you can do? You can watch videos and shows on the tablet, like in the other room.
but how do I turn on those?
Yes. What do you want to watch? Name me something you want to watch. We'll put it on YouTube.
Netflix?
No, there's no Netflix. Name me a show, dude.
YouTube. What's on YouTube?
Oh man.
Anything you can think of, man, is literally like, it's the internet, man.
The Small Market Podcast? Is the Small Market Podcast on YouTube yet?
Yeah.
No,
you got that
no, it's
YouTube
not.
channel? No? All right.
Oh,
What do you want to listen to, or what do you want to watch, kind of?
Hockey?
No, come on, because I don't want you coming in here in 5 minutes telling me. Give me a movie you want me to try and get.
I don't know.
What is a movie you like? What is like A Bug's Life?
Oh yeah, Bug's Life. I like Bug's Life. It's really big about fight ants.
really? That's pretty cool.
No, it's not. Well, grasshoppers fight ants because the ants pick the grasshopper's food, and then it spit out someone, and then it knocks it
Well,
down,
forgive me
and,
for
and then
thinking it was cool.
and then the ant has to build their food again.
Okay. So what's gonna happen is there's gonna be commercials and stuff. You just gotta let them play. But okay, but so when we record, you know what you gotta do?
What?
Take it in the other room,
What's the
like out in the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
You want a chair in there or something?
I want to see. And I'm gonna keep a pen. So.
Here, you can have this pen. Want this pen?
Mhm.
Have this one, buddy. Take that with you.
The dog.
Yeah.
We love you.
No, you too. Yeah. It'll move on to the next video. Every couple minutes it'll move on.
Alright,
That was rough.
should we hit this next segment?
Yeah.
Hit it hard.
Hit it hard. We can almost do 3 segments.
Okay. Yeah, we can do
Is
whatever
it
you
good?
want, man.
We go into baseball, see where we're at time wise.
Okay, you wanna go into baseball?
Is that whatever?
Sure.
Do you
Yeah,
want
might wanna edit out that, I don't know how it'll flow or not, but you could probably edit out some of that baseball crap at the beginning, but.
No, because you can just be like, we're here to revisit. We'll revisit what.
That works.
However you want to do it.
That's cool. Alright, go ahead, you let me know when we're ready. Welcome back to the Small Market Podcast with your host, Watucky and Hoffman. Watucky, you doing okay, man?
I'm doing phenomenal.
Oh, me too. I'm doing phenomenal too. I'm doing absolutely, phenomenal. Let's talk about baseball. I love baseball.
You are
Baseball.
You are on one tonight.
I love baseball because it's the World Series. I got World Series fever, and Clayton Kershaw is unbelievable. You know,
That's your boy.
the thing I like about Clayton Kershaw and the Dodgers is their consistency. You know, like
Yeah,
they
they
consistently win.
Consistently
you know?
getting there.
Consistently getting there. Consistently just doing great things. They might slip up a little bit, but they don't like.
They just wait till like the last series of the season.
Well, they don't wait to, or like, I don't know. I don't like to talk about others, but
they're doing well right now.
there's other teams out there, Kentucky, just between you and me. There's other teams out there that like to blow it, like at the very last minute. Like they like to just do really well the entire game, right? Do the whole game up until like the fourth quarter when there's like 8 minutes left, and then they just let you down. They just break your heart, just like over and over and over and over. Just like a bad person, just like a toxic, just a bad relationship, just a really bad. The Dodgers don't do that though. So yeah, just wanted to let you know how great the Dodgers are in
I
the
get
World
where
Series this year.
I get where you're going with that, Hoffman.
Yeah. Have you watched any of the World Series this year?
I did.
What'd you think? Did you watch? Which game did you watch?
Well, I was just watching the game last night.
Oh, okay. All right. So this is how hardcore I was. I've been watching on like Statcast and stuff, or Gamecast.
Yeah,
on
yep.
ESPN.
Yep.
So in conjunction with that and the radio app, but the radio app is like a little bit behind.
Delayed, yeah.
Yeah, it's delayed, and so you see what happens in Gamecast, and then you're like, whether it's really good or really bad. I'm rooting for the Dodgers, so every time Randy Arozarena hits a home run and you see it on Gamecast, you're like, oh shoot, here it comes. 25 seconds later, I'm gonna get this stupid call for Randy Arozarena hitting 2-run home run, just killing me. And there it go, and then oh my gosh, this guy is off the chain. He is amazing.
Did you see 27 hits, most in the postseason?
Unbelievable.
Set the record.
Unbelievable.
Is he a rookie this year?
He is, and he'll be one next year as well.
He will.
Yeah,
Because
it's weird.
so many. You got to play so many games for it
Right.
to establish.
Yeah, they kind of explain that. I don't really get it. In baseball, there's different levels of like being a rookie. And it's really strange. Like you play so many games, and then that establishes you as a vet or something. So
Oh, okay.
I don't know. It's kind of weird, but
Yeah, I mean he's the next thing.
Apparently, yeah.
I mean,
He's on fire. The kid is on fire. He's on the same kind of tear that like Juan Soto and you get hot for a streak, especially when it comes into like the end of the season,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the best time to get hot and get on a tear. And
Well, yeah,
that's what
especially
he's at
in the
right now.
postseason.
Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, he's carrying that team. He's carrying that team to the point where it's scary. So every time he comes up, or he's even like 2 batters away, I get afraid, no matter who's pitching. Like
But he's got to be to the point where they're going to start pitching around him.
they
I
should,
would think.
but they keep pitching right at him. You know.
Yeah, I would think
Well,
that you.
And the Dodgers keep getting in positions where they have to pitch to him. They kind of have no choice. You know.
Yeah, they already got runners on. And,
Right, exactly, and that you kind of have no choice but to do just that. I didn't want. I cut out of Game 4 a little bit early, which happened to be a huge mistake.
yeah,
because it
because
ended up
that was a
being-
wild ending to that one.
Yes, ended up being the most exciting game of the series. I'm kind of glad I did because it would have really let me down. I would have felt like, you know, it would have felt like a breakup all over again. You know, and it's just too soon for that for me right now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get you.
You know? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't want to retread old ground or anything like that, but I'm kind of glad that I fell asleep before that could happen.
Yeah.
So, you know, yeah, it was nice.
I mean, I'm excited that Kershaw is finally living up to what he's done his whole career. Finally do it in the World Series. On a more serious note here.
Now, you know what's funny about that is I had dinner with Jason Wirtz the other night,
Mm-hmm.
and he kind of made me feel better about it because I said, well, man, so he's finally gonna like break out of his slump, which is kind of nice, right? You know, and he said he kind of made the case that like Kershaw's never really been in a slump. He's just kind of gotten into situations where he didn't have the run support, or you know, one thing led to another, and it was just, you know, bad situations over and over again for him. But he goes, well, he's performed well. Now I don't know if he's kind of being an LA like apologist or an LA homer because he is associated with an affiliate. But
Yeah, I want to say he is. And if you're
I think
listening,
so, too.
Jason, I don't mean it maliciously. I just think, you know, you'd have to look at every individual game to see, was the run support there? Was it not? Were there critical errors made in the field that led to some, you know, to some of these situations that he's in? And yeah, if you do that on an individual basis, that'll justify. But up until this series, if you were, you know, 20 years from now, no one's going to look into individual games. No one's going to sit there and justify it and say, hey, but this happened in this series, and this happened in Game 4 of this series, or whatnot.
I agree, because to me the overwhelming narrative is he hasn't gotten it done in the playoffs.
It was so overwhelming.
Right. He hasn't gotten it done in the playoffs, and especially not the World Series. That he was a choke artist.
Yeah,
you
history
know?
will look back at generalizations. History almost never looks back at specifics.
Agreed. Right. Yeah, I totally agree, and it's nice to see him do well this time, and they have to close it out. They have to
They
finish
have
it.
to. I think they're gonna.
Right.
Because they have. I mean, it's been back and forth, and now they're bringing out that Gilson.
Gonzalez. Yeah, and that kid's like brand new and fresh, and I just don't.
He is, but for Game 7, they're gonna have Walker Buehler going.
You think they're gonna have Buehler going for 7? I hope so.
They will. I almost
Okay.
guarantee it. And he's kind of asserted himself as the ace of the staff.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I not that Kershaw's not, but you know, up until this series, Kershaw's, you know, like we were talking about, had those struggles, and Walker Buehler's been lights out. I just think Buehler is going to be the Game 7 guy, and I think they're willing to take a chance with this kid in Game 6 because they know that if they get any kind of support, run support for Buehler, they're golden in Game 7. Which is kind of we're kind of living on the edge there, because what happens if Buehler has a bad game and just doesn't have it that night?
Right. Well, and I agree. To me, the Game 7 starter seems like Buehler, and that's it. The announcers I was listening to, however, made it seem like Kershaw is the hands down Game 7 starter, which I thought
You'd run him out on short rest.
I wouldn't, but that's what they made it sound like. To me, like Bueller's been lights out.
That's what I'm saying.
That's who you put
He's
in.
been better than Kershaw, and Kershaw's been good, but he's been better than Kershaw. I say you
Bueller's
run
been
out
the
Bueller
ace.
and
Yeah.
keep. And if something happens where you got to pull him in the third or the fourth, then bring Kershaw in until you get to your late end
Mhm.
relievers. I think that would be the way to go.
That's actually smart. I think that's a good idea. That's wise. I don't believe in like Gonzalez being the Game 6 guy. I just like, man, that stutters me a little bit. Makes me think maybe they don't know what they're doing there, because the last two times they've had Gonzalez in, it's turned into bullpen games for them.
Yeah.
You know, they've had to take him out like, you know, second or third inning, and then they go to the bullpen, and it's an uphill battle right there. And, like, these guys are going to come out hot tomorrow. They're
You
going
know
to
they're going to be because their backs are against the wall, and that's why I see this going Game 7 almost regardless of who you got, because it's
Right.
been a back and forth series. No one's really, nobody has strung together multiple game wins.
Right. Yeah, I hope it ends tomorrow, but I don't think it's going to. I really don't think it's going to.
I don't think it's going to either.
Yeah.
So.
Let's talk a little college football, Tucky.
Oh man, where do you want me to start, Hoffman? Well, we'll go like a timeline thing.
Okay, let's do that.
So like at noon, I don't know if you caught any of that state game, but they played Rutgers High.
I heard that it was a massacre.
Ah
Yeah.
man, it was just sloppy.
It was a
bad
Halloween massacre.
football. It was bad football, and
Yeah.
you know everybody's sitting there and they're just ragging on state, and they're saying that this Saturday, when they play Michigan, it's just going to be awful, and it very well could be. Is Michigan State as bad as that game? Michigan State is bad, Hoffman.
We were talking about them earlier in the year, though. Over this summer, right? When
Yeah.
they lost Antonio as
And
coach.
he walked
And-
out right before
Yeah.
signing day.
So we kind of knew they were going to be a bit of a dumpster fire, or a little bit of a problem. They were going to have issues. That head coach, that new head coach, he's got no system and nothing to work from. He doesn't know what he's.
You're teaching
It's
these guys
unfair.
a system on short notice. He's got nobody running out Rocky Lombardi.
Yeah.
You don't have the talent. He doesn't have his guys. This was going
It's
to
a
be
mess.
this was going to be a bad season, and we knew it. And last week I said if they were going to win any games this season, it was going to be the one against Rutgers would be their best opportunity to get a win, and they looked awful. 7 turnovers. The good thing about this, though, if you're a Spartans fan, is that they were turnovers, and that's why they lost. If they would have played a flawless game and they still lost handily to Rutgers, I say you got some problems. But if you clean up your turnovers, they win that game.
Right.
So, that being said, are they bad? Yeah. Are they losing every game this season bad? Now, possibly, but they might surprise you. They might squeak out a win here or there. I can't imagine that they're that bad. And you're playing Michigan this week. You know they're going to be amped up for it. If they clean up their turnovers, yeah, I'm going to say they're still going to lose. And they still might lose by maybe 15. But I bet you they put up a fight for at least the first half.
You think so?
Oh, I think so, possibly in
Okay.
the first 3 quarters. Because you just don't know what happens in a rivalry game like that. Like they say, the old adage, you throw the records out the window.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you do.
Did you watch that state game at all, or no?
I caught it on the radio.
We caught it on the radio. Okay, I was gonna say, did anybody look good out of that on
Rock-
that squad?
Rocky Lombardi's stat line wasn't bad.
Okay.
I mean, he threw for well over 300 yards.
Okay.
And,
Alright.
I mean, like, if they don't shoot themselves in the foot, they beat Rutgers. It's not an issue. But they're missing passes. Him and Jalen Naylor just weren't on the same page for a lot of plays, and I don't know if it was the wide receiver running the wrong route, if it was the quarterback thinking he's going to cut one way. There was a lot of parts that weren't in sync, and it showed. And it's the first game of the season. I mean, you got to figure a lot of these guys, these teams, not just Michigan State, thought they were all going to play,
Right.
and they just, then they're not going to play. Now they are going to play, and it's a whole back and forth. There's been a lot of sloppy football in the Big Ten. I mean, you look at it. Penn State lost to Indiana
Yeah.
in overtime.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of sloppy football, and you got Greg Schiano coming back to Rutgers, so he's a very good coach. So Rutgers is probably playing some of their best football they'll play, and Michigan State's playing some of the sloppiest football they'll play all season, and that was your outcome.
Yeah. How did your boys blue look this weekend?
They looked phenomenal. Are they really that good? On offense, the offensive line was pushing around Minnesota's defensive line. Joe Milton, if you had to describe it in one word, was efficient. He threw for like 225 yards and a touchdown, ran for another 50-some and a touchdown. The running game was really good behind that offensive line. He had a clean pocket all night behind that offensive line. The offensive line was really the players of the game. Minnesota couldn't stop him. After they forced him to punt and they blocked the punt at the start of the game, they scored every other drive, I believe, since then. And I would say the offensive play calling was great, but there was a couple of throws by Milton where he threw in a double coverage and he was lucky it wasn't picked. They had a punt return that one of the guys fumbled it, but Barrett jumped back on it for us, and we got the ball back. They had a lot of bounces that went their way, that if they don't go their way, it's more of a dogfight. I think they win in the end, but it's more of a dogfight. They looked good, everybody's really hyped, but there are things they need to clean up themselves. So I wouldn't get too excited. I mean, you let Minnesota score 24. That's not taking anything away from Minnesota because they got the number 1 receiver in the Big Ten, and they got the number 2 going into the game, the number 2 quarterback in Tanner Morgan, who threw for almost 70% of his passes completion rating last year and like 30 touchdowns. He's like number 2 behind Justin Fields at Ohio State. So they had a good offense last year, a very good offense, but you gave up 24 points, and there was, Kwity Paye played great, a couple of sacks. Michael Barrett was all over the field. Their defense played good, but I question it. I question when you start to play the big boys like the Wisconsins and the Ohio States, obviously, where they're gonna exploit some of those one-on-one coverages that Don Brown always has. And so 24 points against Minnesota looks good, but I'm telling you right now, with that defense, Ohio State still hangs 50 on you.
Yeah.
The only thing that I would say you got a chance of this year, unless that defense really comes out and does something special in that Ohio State game, I know we're looking way ahead, is the offense looks like if it continues to improve. I mean, they're a totally different team on offense. Michigan might be able to hang 60. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
They have a good offense.
You didn't even mention that play I kept seeing over and over and over again was that the QB for Minnesota just gets nailed.
Oh, yeah, that was Barrett. Barrett played out of his mind.
Okay.
Yeah, he was the one that forced that fumble. Jeter, the scoop and score.
Yes.
I mean,
yeah.
so
I haven't seen something that efficient in probably like 10 or 15 years in
I know, I'm sitting here saying
maybe
the
20
defense.
years.
I'm saying the defense is a liability, but they also
Oh.
scored 7 points of their own.
That was beautiful. That looked like Charles Woodson, Desmond Howard days of Michigan football, where like everything was airtight, everyone played out of their minds.
It was. I mean, and Barrett, like they were trying to avoid kicking it deep to Giles Jackson, so they kept doing these short squib kicks.
Mhm.
So then they put in that Barrett that's a Viper on defense. They put him for the hands team in there, and then it's like squib kicked it short, and he took off for 66 yards down the field, almost put one in the end zone himself on a return, setting them up for great field position. I mean, they played well. I'm just trying to pump the brakes on the hype train because I've seen it for like the last decade. The start of the season, the first couple wins, the hype train's there, and we roll into Columbus and just get the doors blown off us. You know what I'm saying? So this is the first game of the season. Come talk to me after if we manhandle Wisconsin and Penn State like this, I'm going to be like, all right, we're for real going into the Ohio State game.
Yeah.
But you just got to pump your brakes. I mean, you're going to Bloomington to play Indiana as well, who just beat Penn State.
Right.
So, I mean, you got a tough-ass schedule. This is one win, and everybody's like, oh, it's one win on the road. Yeah, there's no fans in the stands. Let's just take it easy.
Yeah.
I mean, or very minimal at best. I mean, it's not. There's really not a big home team advantage. So, yeah, they look good. They look
Yeah.
real good. This is
Yeah.
probably one of the best offenses I've seen from Michigan
Right.
in a long time. But just take it easy, guys.
That's it's humorous to me to hear you say pump the brakes. You know, because you are
I am the Michigan fan that's seen a lot of shit the last 10 years.
you're the engineer on the Michigan hype train usually, or I would expect you to be
And I usually
the
am.
engineer.
I've
But,
I've learned my lesson.
but you've been jaded before. You know,
Yeah.
I know how you feel right now, Kentucky. and,
Until Jim Harbaugh is holding that Big Ten trophy in his hands,
Right.
I'm not going to believe it's real.
I hear you. Yeah.
Until Ohio State's walking off the field with their heads down, I'm not going to believe it's real.
Right. That's where I'm at with Kershaw and
Until he's
you know,
wearing that ring, right?
Right. Well, till at least they've got that trophy and stuff. You know, till he's wearing a ring exactly. Till he,
I got to see it to believe
I
it.
gotta see it to believe it, and just really, it's the same thing with I don't even want to talk about them anymore. The Lions, you know, they're at the top of that division right there. It's never gonna happen.
It's
but-
not. No, we discussed that. It's
Right.
not.
I wish I wish the best for them. You know, I'm happy for them. Whatever. I
Green
don't
Bay's-
care. It doesn't even
even-
matter to me.
Even if they went on a 5-game winning streak, Green Bay is on such a tear too that you're not going to catch them. I don't think.
Rodgers always finds a way. You know.
Yeah.
But
Hey,
yeah. Did you have anything else you want to say
No,
about
I mean-
about them or Big Ten football?
no, I mean, Northwestern.
Okay.
Northwestern beat Maryland 43-3. Often.
Wow.
When was the last time Northwestern had an offensive output
Good
like
point,
that?
yeah.
Like when you think of Northwestern football and Pat Fitzgerald, you're thinking just defensive, hard nosed. They just kind of grind you into the ground like a slow grind, and they win like
Right.
23 to 20.
Right. Exactly. They don't have an offensive presence like that
Ever. So I looked it up. It's been almost 50 years since they won by 40 points.
Jeez.
Like in the 70s, man.
Wow.
Yeah,
That is insane.
yeah, that's pretty nuts. But other than that, no, I don't have much else to say. Who's our guest next week, Hoffman?
I am very excited about this. Next week, we have a professional bowler, not only a professional bowler, a PBA Hall of Famer next week, on the show next week.
Good friend of Hoffman's.
Man,
Good friend of mine. Good guy in general.
yeah, our pal Matt Dickinson got us this interview with Parker Bone. PBA Hall of Famer Parker Bone is on the show next week.
You've seen him on Kingpin. You've seen him on his own bowling video game.
Yeah, he's when there's a PBA video game, when there's any kind of bowling video game, Parker Bone is on it. He's one of the guys. He might be one of the guys on the Mount Rushmore of
Bowling.
pro bowling.
Who
Yeah.
would be on your Mount Rushmore Pro Bowling?
I'd have to put probably Walter Ray, Parker Bone for sure. You know, he's awesome. Dick Weber, I'd want Dick Weber up there. Oh gosh, there's so many great bowlers.
I put Norm Duke on there.
Oh,
Probably.
Mark Duke, yeah, absolutely. One of my
Mike
father's.
Roth.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Mark Roth is a great
Like-
one. One of my dad's favorite guys was Marshall Holman. He loved
Oh, yeah,
Marshall Holman.
yeah.
But yeah, man, so many great classic. And Parker Bone's kind of a throwback to the golden age of bowling. And there was a golden age of bowling.
Yeah,
believe it or not.
yeah. If you're
You
listening and you're under
Yeah.
30, there was a golden age where it was on like ABC, like college
Yes.
football is now. It was
Yes.
on.
Those
They
guys
had
are
the championships on.
Those guys are